The time has come for this cookie!
Hi guys, this is Cookie coming to you from Kingdom 417, and this is my strategy guide on how to build a cavalry setup. First, we'll be starting off with the Blue Dragon, and then we'll be looking at the Blue Dragon skills. The skills will be highlighted for you to know and pay attention to which ones. The skills that you see circled are the skills that matter the most on the Blue Dragon. Next, we'll be looking at the heroes used. First hero we'll be looking at is Christina, and this is a 3-3 combination. It is the Archangel setup and the Queen setup. It's primarily focused on the offensive damage done. Next, we'll be looking at Zhao Yu, and this is the equipment setup I have with Zhao Yu. It is a full Archangel setup, and it's all pretty much pertaining towards cavalry to a degree. I'm going to say to a degree because I do not have enough resources to access everything to maximize his cavalry. Here you can see the cavalry attributes. Next, we'll be looking at Zhao Yu's skill tree. As Zhao Yu's skill tree is primarily cavalry, I will fill in a little bit of infantry after I'm done with cavalry. So next, we'll be looking at the gems that I have on Zhao Yu. For the weapon slot, you might have noticed I've picked counter towards infantry, and this primary reason is because if infantry can kill cavalry, I would like to do more damage towards infantry. For the second slot, I did not have anything really important to place there, so I placed the current attribute there. Now we'll be looking at the helmet, and on the helmet you can see the cavalry damage dealt by and the offensive damage taken. This greatly helps focus towards cavalry because this is an overall cavalry focus setup. This setup, like as before, is I wish to reduce the damage infantry deals towards cavalry, so I went with a counter effective towards infantry. After that, it was just throwing in anything I had available. Next, we'll be looking at the pants. And as you can see with the pants, it is more strictly focused towards cavalry. And then you can see that gem bonuses are also set towards cavalry. Next, we'll be looking at the shin guard. And the shin guard is not pretty much a cavalry focus setup, but then I try to include a secondary setup as in infantry. And pretty much if it's not cavalry, I try to make it an infantry thing. Next, we'll be looking at the ring. And as you can see, based on the attributes set up on the ring, it's infantry, but then the gem setup is cavalry. So I am focused on a cavalry infantry setup. The next part is the arrays. The arrays, I have only 6 orange arrays set up, and therefore I will only unlock the 6-piece set bonus. The set bonus is basically the same way as your equipment is set up. Here is highlighted here on the bottom. And here are the 6 pieces of orange equipment I have equipped on my array setup. Now the next part is one of the newer functions toward the array system, and it is those little blue, purple, orange gems you see on the sides of your array. Do not overcomplicate your own scenario and understand what these are. If you simply click on the arrays, it will show you your bonuses you have on those arrays in the quality level and the color variation between them. This next part is what I will be trying to show you to how to synthesize your arrays and to gain that extra bonus stats. So now the next part is going to be showing you is synthesizing your arrays to add your attributes from one array to another. As you see, the array on the left is the original array, and the array on your right is the one you want to synthesize into. You have to look at the stats and the percentage chance of it succeeding. Next, we are looking at the Magic House and the books worn in the Magic House. So we'll be looking at the Wind book, Blessing of the Wind, as it grants you a % damage dealt by. And then the next stop is the Fire book, and there are 2 books you can actually use: Burning the Fire or Bloodlust of Fire. The Bloodlust of Fire book can grant you a 1.5% crit chance and then an 80% crit damage. The Burning the Fire book can now offer you a 20% burning damage with a 40% converting your damage dealt by into burning damage. In this next clip, we'll be diving into the gems. As previously stated, while I was showing you the Zhao Yu setup, these are the total gems that you can use. These next set of gems is more of an experimental stage I am right now, but it is an effective counter towards infantry, which is I do more damage towards infantry, and then a reduction against infantry, which therefore infantry does less damage towards my cavalry. So during the gem selection part, you can actually select something completely different from what I am doing, but just please note that what cavalry counters and what infantry counters. On the weapon slot, you can always place in effectiveness against archers, which is what cavalry directly counters. Next, we'll be looking at the hero commander slot and gems used. The equipment on these slots do not matter, only the gems. So therefore I place these set of gems on for the obvious reasons, because they only take effect during the hero commander's position. Since this is the cavalry commander, you must place both the gems related towards the cavalry commander spot. This next clip is based on the Lord's stats and the gem selection. You can see the ring attributes and then the gem selection. It's primarily based towards cavalry and infantry. Next, we'll be looking at the Archangel pants, and as you can see, this is completely focused straight towards cavalry. And next is the helmet, and this is my setup for the helmet. Here's the weapon setup, and I am using the same thing as Zhao Yu, as in my improved counter effectiveness against infantry is a testing phase only. Here is the exact same setup I have on Zhao Yu, where the infantry do less damage towards cavalry. Here's the shin guard setup, and it's primarily around cavalry and then infantry, as the second slot on the gem slot is not really utilized because I had nothing else to offer for that gem slot. This next clip is a screenshot from my latest cavalry attack on the player in my kingdom, and this is basically showing you everything I have shown you so far dealing towards cavalry. So please utilize all the information I've given you so far, and please do not take priority over the cavalry attack and defense, because the most important stats are the health, the strike by distance, the cavalry dealt by damage, the cavalry received by damage, the cavalry basic attack, the cavalry basic defense, and so forth. This next clip is something I kind of forgot about towards the end of the recording of this video, and this deals directly with the array system. And towards the array system, where I selected earlier where you can add or synthesize towards your array system, these are the attributes on the array system that you can add towards it. As your arrays upgrade through the time, you might have noticed that some of your lower quality arrays have really great attributes, and this is where synthesizing your lower quality into the higher quality comes into place. But then you have to remember the chance of you granting the random attributes from your lower quality into the higher quality is a very slim, low to chance. The array system can be quite complex, but it is really not. But when it comes to synthesizing towards these things that you may want, you have to understand that In order to acquire these things, you have to look towards the most important things. So here are the important things you must look for towards: cavalry basic attack, cavalry basic defense, cavalry damage dealt by, and then cavalry health. If you can add all of these things onto one array, then imagine the other arrays you can add these towards. As the video progresses, you will see the following arrays, which you have the possibility to stack these arrays onto one array and then on top of another array, which therefore multiplies these stacking effects. As you reach the other types of arrays, you might have noticed that the damage dealt by, the damage attack, and the damage basic are not in the first set of arrays that came out versus the last set of arrays that did come out. So when it comes to maximizing your setup, it really comes down to you paying attention to your gems, your arrays, your hero levels, your hero skills, the equipment setup. Please share, like, and subscribe. You can click on the screen for subscription notice and guide channels notice.